Hello everybody, welcome back to another vlog. I thought for today's vlog I would do like a little bit of a catch-up Q&A, and every time I say that I feel like I'm saying catch-up Q&A. It's been about a week since I vlogged, and it's been almost a week since my surgery, so I thought that we would catch up and just kind of chit-chat because I'm gonna try to ease back into vlogging. I'm also like filming a separate vlog today, or at least I'm starting it, so you guys will probably see that here in a little bit. But yeah, I thought we could chill and just answer some questions and chit chat. I am very comfortably in my little recliner chair. If you guys watched my like surgery prep vlog, this has been the purchase of the century for me. Let me tell you, I love this thing so much. I take it downstairs and sit on the couch with it, sit up in bed with it. I don't even really need it anymore. I just like love it. I feel like this is a very manageable way for me to put up a vlog, but obviously very chill, you know, recovery mode type of vibes. So starting off, one of the most common questions asked, which is so sweet, is like, how are you doing? Are you resting? How's your recovery going? How was surgery, etc.? And honestly, surgery was fine. There was like a bit of a delay. It was funny because when I got booked in, if you didn't know, in case you know you've missed the last few vlogs, I had a cholecystectomy, which is the removal of my gallbladder. It's a very common, I think it's one of the most common surgeries there are. So I had my gallbladder removed. I had a couple of scans and determined that my gallbladder was functioning at 11% and it was dying. So it needed to come out. And then when I got referred to a surgeon, I went to that appointment and they said that they couldn't get me in for a few weeks unless I went the next day. And I said, yes, I will go tomorrow. So I didn't really have a ton of time to prepare, but it was like for the best because it just helped me not spiral leading up to the appointment and stuff. And I went to a surgery center that was like on the campus of a hospital instead of the actual hospital, and I feel like that was like less intimidating and scary and stuff. The thing is, when I got booked for that appointment, she was like, he's always ahead of schedule, come early, you know, blah blah blah. So she told me to come a little bit early. I showed up early. He was running late, so like hours late. So by the time I went back for surgery, it had been, I think, like 24 hours since I'd eaten, and then like I think 16 hours since I'd had water. Hey!
He was like, hey, that tree branch is really dangerous and it might fall on your neighbor's house.
Just the branch, not the whole tree?
No, like, whatever. I know.
Landscaping drama. But yeah, by the time I had gotten called back into, like, by the time I got wheeled back into surgery, it had been, at that point, like, almost 24 hours since I had eaten, and, like, almost, I think, 16 hours since I had had water. So that was crazy. But the surgery itself went fine. It was interesting because they wheeled me into the OR. They had me like get on the table. They were strapping my legs down and doing all this kind of stuff. And I was looking around and I could see so many different people talking and saying things. And I've never been awake for that much of the procedure. Like usually it's like they start moving around and then they like, I was like awake for a good few minutes while I was watching them move stuff and do stuff. And then finally I went under. I did have some post-op nausea for the first probably 24 hours. That was honestly the worst part. But that's just kind of how it goes with surgery sometimes. I have a really sensitive stomach. I didn't end up getting sick, thank goodness. And then I had like some gas pain immediately on waking up because when they do the procedure, they like blow you up with gas, I think to like better access everything. It's kind of gross. And then they sort of like let it deflate out of you before they sew you up. And I had some gas pain and stuff immediately after waking up. But yeah, I've been able to like eat and drink and stuff. I'm still experiencing some like GI issues because it depends on the person, but I just take a really long time to heal from everything, so it's just taking me a little bit longer, but like I'm doing well. And I know with like a GI surgery, depending on the person, especially me who just like has such a messed up GI system as it is, it's gonna take time. It's gonna take time for my stomach to adjust to certain foods, to eating, to going to the bathroom, all that kind of stuff. It's just gonna be like a very much baby steps kind of process for me. I think for some people, they like have surgery and they immediately feel better and they're cured afterwards, and that's just, it's not gonna be me. So I'm just giving myself time and patience. I need to just remind myself that how I feel today isn't how I'm gonna feel forever and whatever. But the actual like pain from the procedure itself, like from my incisions and all of that, really manageable. I only took pain medicine, and actually I never even took any of like the pain pills that they gave me since I got out of surgery. So I never used those. I just did Tylenol and then ibuprofen 600. And that was what I did for the first, like, I think 2 days. And I haven't been on pain meds since. So did a little heating pad for the trapped gas in my shoulder. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm still experiencing a little bit of gas, like all over, because, you know, they blow it up. They blow you up with it, and then not all of it escapes. So your body has to kind of like reabsorb it. And it's weird having it kind of travel all over your body and stuff. But yeah, I've had some random things here and there, like indigestion, constipation, you know, all that kind of fun stuff. But yeah, we're doing good. We're trucking along, and I'm looking forward to like continuing to feel better for sure. So seriously, thank you so much to everyone who asked how I'm doing and how I'm feeling and checked in on me and cares about that. It just means so much. Like, seriously, thank you. It has been such a joy to like go through this experience and know that there are people asking after me, and it just means the world. So thank you guys so much. How big were the incisions made for surgery? So I have 4 incisions, 1 in my belly button, 2 on my right side, and 1 on my left side, and each of those is like this long. Like, I mean, half an inch, if that. They're very small and manageable. So I have a feeling, based off of like what you guys have told me, based off of what I've heard from other people, I think they're gonna be like almost undetectable by the time they heal and stuff. But it does take my body like a long time to heal from stuff. But the one in my belly button is the one that's giving me the most pain and soreness, because I think they were really just yank. Sorry, they pulled the gallbladder out like through your belly button. I'm so sorry. The surgeon told Drew that it was like really inflamed. So I think it was just had to happen. And then they just like sewed it up really tight. Like, my belly button looks completely different now. It's really weird. Thoughts on new pets? I think of Layla and Moo often. Oh my God, that's so sweet. We've been thinking like more and more recently. I still don't think we're ready yet, just because we haven't like fully decided where we're gonna live yet and like what we're gonna do. Like, if we're gonna move back into an apartment, we don't want to get another big dog, and you know, just all these different things that like we need to kind of figure out where we want to be first and sort of settle there. Just kind of figuring out like what we're doing, like what our next chapter is going to be first, and then kind of going from there. Because yeah, I think there's a part of me that feels like I could never go through the loss of a pet again, because it's just so painful, and the end of life stages were so horrible for losing both of our pets. Also, that's so sweet that you think of them often. That's so nice. So do I, every single day. Drew and I talk about them every single day. And so there's a part of me that's like, I could never go through that again. There's also a part of me that's like, I really enjoy not having to like take a dog outside in the middle of the night because they have to go to the bathroom, or, you know, things like that. Having the ability to just like go on a trip on a whim and not have to worry about having care for them, or, you know, whatever. So yeah, I go back and forth about it, but for right now, I don't see us getting any more pets for the next at least like year or so, because we really just want to enjoy the time of not having that responsibility. I know I've said that before. I got Layla when I was 22 years old, and Drew got Moo when he was 19. And then we were like in our mid-30s when they passed. So it was just definitely like, we've never experienced not having that responsibility. So we're kind of like enjoying that now, even though we really miss the companionship and we really miss them. Kindle stand review. I'm a woman of the people, and I will let you know that I do not regret that purchase at all whatsoever. It's quite literally right here next to me at all times. It is a little stand that you can put your Kindle in, and then you put this little sensor thing like on your actual Kindle. Here, I'll show you. In case you missed that vlog, you take your Kindle, stick it in this stand, right? Then you take the little, wait, is this bad? Okay, wait. You put it in this stand like this. You put this little sensor thing on the page. You don't have to do it too crazy. Then you take the remote and you click, and it turns the page for you. It's incredible. Imagine, you can just sit in bed like this and you can do it in any sort of position. I know they have ones that like clamp on your nightstand and stuff, and that's like I think a little less large. Like it is a big one. But honestly, this thing is incredible. The one thing I will offer constructive feedback on is if you are like a side sleeper like me and you like to enjoy reading like this. So I read like this. I literally have had this freaking remote control page turner thing like under the covers, like lounging around like that. I make the font really big so I can see it, and I just sit there like that. But when you want to turn to the other side, you can't do that. I mean, I guess I could like really try to like, I don't know, move this all across my body and stuff, but that's like kind of the only thing. So it's more like if you're laying in bed like on your back, it's better for that. So that's my official review. I recommend it. I really do. Is it necessary? No, absolutely not. But do I love it, and am I glad I have it? Yes. I've gotten quite a few questions about people saying like, what were your symptoms before surgery? What was your experience before surgery? How did you know something was wrong? So for me, I kind of have always had GI issues. I've struggled with like nausea and indigestion and constipation and diarrhea. When I was younger, I got diagnosed with IBS. Then a couple of years ago, I had what I now know I think was a gallbladder attack or something related to it, or a gastritis attack that was caused by my gallbladder or whatever. And it was gnarly. Like it was like, I was like, do I need to take myself to the emergency room? But then it went away. And then I went to a GI doctor because a lot of you guys said, that sounds like a gallbladder attack. You should get that looked at. And when I went to my doctor, it was a really, really well established, like one of the best GI departments in the country. That hospital is like very renowned for it. And so I was really surprised. And I was totally convinced. I went to this GI doctor and I said, I think I had a gallbladder attack. And he was like, what makes you say that? And I gave him my symptoms and he goes, well, that doesn't sound like a gallbladder attack at all. And I was like, okay. And I didn't want to be like, well, because I posted a vlog about it and 1,000 people told me, hey, you should get your gallbladder checked. But he was like, well, let me start with an ultrasound and we can go from there. He did the ultrasound and he was like, your gallbladder's fine. And I was like, okay. So then he was like, have you ever been tested for SIBO? And I was like, no. Then I tested positive for SIBO. And so I just thought, oh, well, I have SIBO and that's what's been causing my issues. And it's been causing me to have like, you know, X, Y, and Z. And then fast forward to a couple years later, I started having some really intense episodes of nausea. I would like fall asleep with like a burning stomach, and then I would wake up like an hour later and I'd be extremely nauseous, and I would take Zofran and nothing would help that. And it was just like a whole thing. And then I noticed some like feelings of kind of just like inflammation and fullness in my right upper quadrant. So went to the GI doctor. She ordered me a hiiii scan, which is a scan where you lay under this kind of big x-ray machine thing, and they inject you with this like contrast dye radioactive liquid stuff that simulates kind of like a gallbladder attack, so they can measure the ejection fraction percentage of your gallbladder. It's a whole thing. And anything above a 45% or higher is like what they like to see for like an active, you know, healthy gallbladder. And mine was an 11. And I think it was declining rapidly because it just like only got worse as time went on. So those were kind of my main symptoms, but I don't know if I ever actually had a full-blown gallbladder attack. And let me tell you, I didn't want to know. Based off of what I had heard, it's full on like emergency room situation, like excruciating pain. There were people that were like, I would rather give birth again than go through that. So that's why I knew like, I've got to get this out now because things are not going well. And I just overall, I don't know how to explain it, but like your body just knows when something is wrong. Like something was just really, really wrong. And I was like, I don't feel right. I don't know how to explain it, but I just don't feel right. So I'm so far feeling better, but I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that I will only continue to feel better and better because again, I only had surgery a week ago. Advice for moving in with your boyfriend. My advice for moving in with your boyfriend would be have as much established ahead of time as possible. Drew and I really didn't run into any issues when we moved in together, but also we'd been friends for like 7 or 8 years before we started dating. And then by the time we moved in together, it was just kind of like a natural thing. But I think just like having, yeah, an established, like, this is how much I'm contributing to rent, this is how much you're contributing to rent, this is like how I do house chores, this is how, you know, like making sure that things are like equal or fair, just to avoid any like kind of roommate-esque conflicts in the future. There are some things that you just like can't even really learn about a person until you live with them. So it's just sort of one of those things where like I'm always just like, do it, literally do it, because you're not gonna find out otherwise, you know. But I sincerely hope that you have the most amazing experience moving in with your boyfriend. I got a couple questions about my recovery saying, was it what you expected it to be, or was it harder or easier than you expected? I would say it's about what I expected. Like, people were really helpful. When I posted on Instagram asking for like your experience, if you had a good experience with surgery, so many people were so helpful. I cannot believe how many DMs I got. I wasn't even able to like respond to all of them. It was so overwhelming in the best way, and I read every single one of them, and so many people were like, I had an amazing experience, you're gonna be absolutely fine. Other people weren't like, there was no one that said they had like a horror story experience, but there were people that were like, hey, just so you know, like, waking up from anesthesia, I was pretty nauseous, or it took my stomach a really long time to kind of like settle. I had a very sensitive stomach for a little while, or every time I have, you know, fatty foods, I have to immediately run to the bathroom in like less than a minute, you know, things like that. So all of the reading everyone's experiences, I feel really prepared me a lot, because by the time I went to my surgery consultation, the doctor was like going over everything, and I pretty much had already heard you guys tell me everything he was saying. There wasn't really anything that was unexpected, except for on the day of surgery, the nurse was like really preparing me. She was like, you're gonna have nausea when you wake up. And she was like, you're gonna have some nausea when you're recovering as well. She was like, you're literally having a surgery to your GI system. So it's gonna take time to adjust and settle and, you know, things like that. And so that was like something that I maybe wasn't expecting as much. Like, I wasn't, I guess, thinking as much about the after effects, because some people were like, oh, I just ate whatever I wanted from then on and I'm fine. But it does take a little while to get to that point. So I would say because of you guys, it was pretty much exactly what I expected, apart from maybe I'm just a little more sensitive. So like the first 2 days, I was like a little bit more tender, I guess, like emotionally and mentally, just because I have health anxiety on top of all of that. And so having surgery to like my GI system was just like mentally tough, but you guys really helped a lot with that. So much. What books are next on your reading list? I also got some questions about like what books have I been reading during recovery. What did I finish recently? I finished The Perfect Divorce by Geneva Rose. I actually quite liked it because it was exactly what I expected. Like, it was predictable, but it was good. It was a sequel to The Perfect Marriage by the same author. And then I read Every Summer After by Carly Fortune, because it was really recommended. It was like a cute little like summer romance. And now I'm reading the like kind of loose sequel to that book, which is called One Golden Summer. So I'm reading that at the moment. I'm just kind of getting started with that one. And then after that, I have a few more. I actually talked about it recently. I have a couple of Lisa Jewell books, a couple of Lucy Foley books, a couple of Frida McFadden books, a couple other random ones that I'm looking forward to getting back into my thrillers. Thoughts on Taylor Swift not using her huge platform to speak out on genocide, ICE, oligarchy, etc. I'm a Swiftie, by the way, and very disappointed. I think a lot of us are. Yeah, I think that there's like a double-edged sword there, because obviously a reason, probably safety wise, that she's not talking about these things, but also, I don't know, it would make such a difference if like the most famous woman in the world, you know, spoke out against a genocide that was currently happening. A lot of celebrities, not just Taylor Swift, aren't saying anything. It's really upsetting and confusing. It's also easy for me to say because I'm not Taylor Swift, but at the same time, like, yeah, it's definitely disappointing for sure. What's your favorite hobby you do that you don't even notice the time pass? Probably reading, probably playing Donkey Kong Country 1 through 3, the 1990s version on my Switch, junk journaling, writing, watching TV, watching YouTube. Oh my god, I am such a YouTube viewer. Like, I can't even begin to tell you how much YouTube I love to watch. I love like van lifers, travelers, vloggers. I watch so many different, especially Sundays. Ooh, Sunday is my day. I could sit there and watch YouTube all day long on Sundays. I love it. ADHD, have you noticed any stims that you use? I'm a knuckle cracker and a skin picker, lol. I bite the inside of my mouth. Like I bite the inside of my lips and my cheek. I don't love that I do that. I catch myself doing it on camera all the time. And then I wiggle my toes a lot. Like I'm always like rubbing my feet together or moving my feet around in bed. Like I am just, this is me. Just posted up all the time. Like one of my favorite things at the end of a long day is like I can't wait to get in bed and rub my feet together under the covers. I love it. You like singing. Why don't you do it anymore? That's like really sweet to say. I do love singing. I actually come from like a really musical family. My dad is a musician. It's still what he does professionally to this day. I don't know why I stopped singing, to be honest with you. Like it used to be such a hobby of mine, and then like YouTube kind of became my hobby, and then it became my job, and then like I don't know, I just stopped doing it. It like makes me cringe out sometimes, like doing it online. So I guess it's just kind of a thing that I do for myself. Like I'm always singing in the car and whatever, but I would really like to get back into music again, whether that's like playing keyboard or playing guitar or doing something like that, like taking singing lessons or joining like a choir or something. I don't know. But yeah, I really do miss that musical part of my life. I also am just like not super inspired by a lot of music these days. Like I'm such a pop music girly. I've always loved pop music, and there is really good pop music these days, but it just doesn't hit the same. And like I sound like a freaking boomer, but I'm just like, I don't know. I haven't been super inspired recently. I don't know. But really just because I haven't prioritized it, but I would like to start singing again more. How was your experience with the gas pain in your shoulder post-op? Mine was so bad. I'm still feeling it. Like I feel it very, very slightly right now. Kind of was like in my chest too a little bit. So strange, but I'm a little slower to get rid of the gas, I suppose. How has your mental health been since your surgery? I hope you've been well. Thank you so much. Again, kind of like touching on what I mentioned before. It's been off and on. Drew has had to remind me to give myself a little fucking break and be like, he's like, Carrie, you had surgery a week ago or 4 days ago or 3 days ago or whatever, because I'm always like, oh, this thing is like, this is how I'm gonna feel forever or whatever. And he's like, no, you're not. You know, you just have to give it time. It takes some people like over a year to start feeling completely normal again after surgery. It just is different for every single person. So I have to remind myself of that, like I said before. But I would say mentally, it's like touch and go. Like most days, I'm fine. There are little things here and there that start me spiraling, and like it's been kind of weird with like food and stuff like that. But I did start seeing a new therapist, and we're going to be doing exposure therapy and or ART to try and help with some of like my phobia, anxiety, OCD stuff. So I'm hoping that that will help a lot. How do you and Drew approach finances? Do you do 50-50 or according to income, etc.? So I think I've mentioned this before, but we make like a similar amount, but there's like a slight difference in our income. So we basically both contribute the same percentage of our income towards our rent and our expenses. But then sometimes it gets kind of like, I don't know, it's pretty much equal because he pays our health insurance through his job, our car insurance, like our streaming services, some of our utilities, and then I pay some of our utilities, some of our I don't know, it's like kind of confusing. And then we both contribute the same percentage of our income to the rent. I guess it's different if you're in like a roommate situation or something, but it makes more sense for us as a couple to contribute the same percentage rather than the same dollar amount, even though it's not that different. What are your thoughts on American Eagle's new Sydney Sweeney campaign? Girl, what was that? Any plans for the remainder of summer post-surgery? Drew and I want to go to California so bad. We were actually supposed to be there right now because his sister and her family are there right now, and our niece has a softball tournament right there, and we were gonna like, I think, I wasn't feeling good anyway, but we were gonna try to go, and it was just like more and more clear as time was going on that it just wasn't gonna happen. So they're actually there right now, and I would love to be there, but there's time for that. So maybe like once I'm feeling better and I'm like a little bit more recovered and all that kind of stuff, we will plan some sort of trip to California and maybe never come back. No, I'm kidding, but definitely that. And then we'd love to visit my dad in Nashville. Two of our good friends, who, it's my friend from high school in Tennessee and her husband, they've been living in LA for the last like 6 years or so, and they just moved back to Nashville. And so when we go back to visit my dad and stuff, we'll be able to visit them, and it'll be really fun. So that is definitely in the future. And then, oh my god, we want to go back to the UK so bad, but probably not this year. I don't know, we'll see. You guys are so nice. Like, most of the things are just like, glad you're on the mend, no question, just sending you a speedy recovery, like wishing you the happiest recovery. Like, it's just so nice. How did it go? Get well soon, love from the UK. Oh, I love the UK. I'm sending love right back. What is your favorite self-care activity right now? Honestly, it's my nightly shower. I take a shower like right before I go to bed, and I make sure that I like lather myself up in some nice lotion on my hands and legs. I mean, I can't really like fully bend over completely yet, but like I shave my legs, I, you know, scrub up in the shower, I get everything nice and clean, and then I like get into bed and I journal, and I like sometimes play my Switch and I read until I fall asleep. So that's probably like my favorite thing right now, is like my nighttime routine. What advice would you give your 27-year-old self? How old I am? Oh my gosh. Okay, so that was 10 years ago, which is crazy to think about. I'm 37 now. 10 years ago, 27, I was living in Nashville. Oh god. Okay, so I was in a relationship that like wasn't the best. It wasn't the healthiest. And I was dating someone who I don't even think I really liked that much. I was just like scared to be alone. And that's like, you know, the God's honest truth. I was putting up with a lot in a relationship that I wasn't even really being fulfilled in. I was just like codependent, and I was scared to be by myself. And I was just like accepting a lot of things that I would never accept now. And there was like a good friendship, but we should have never been anything more than friends. And so yeah, that's like the main thing that I'm thinking about. So advice that I would give my 27-year-old self is don't settle. Do not settle at all. Like, you deserve so much more than you give yourself credit for. And like, spend a little time with yourself. It was shortly after that, it was like in 2016 that I spent like a year and a half, or like a year and some change, by myself. I was single, and like intentionally so. And I think that time to be by myself, I was kind of like a relationship hopper in my 20s. That time to be by myself and like figure out what it was like to be alone, and what it was like to know what I wanted and what I needed, was like, I think, one of the most successful building blocks that helped me get to a place where I was like ready to be in a relationship with Drew, you know. So spend time with your friends, focus your time on like your girlfriends, and pursue your hobbies, which is what I did, and it became my job, which I'm so grateful for. And just like, stay away from men, honestly. How do you handle self-image and clothes not fitting right? Struggling hard with that right now. Honestly, I'm not handling it very well. It is something that I'm still struggling with myself, and I don't know how to find a good answer for it. I've experienced a lot of swelling in my abdomen since this surgery as well, like a lot. And so that's not helping either. So I would say just meeting yourself where you're at. Like right now, the way I feel comfortable is loose baggy t-shirts, and that's where I'm at, you know, and not trying to like force myself to feel any type of way. Like, just being kind to yourself and meeting yourself where you're at. And also thinking about your body less helps me, because I realize like that life is so much bigger, and there's so many horrendous things happening in the world and in this country, and bigger things to worry about. And I think about that quote from, oh my god, what's her name? Jemima Kirk. She said, I think we're all thinking about ourselves a little bit too much. And I couldn't agree more. So that helps humble me for sure. Okay, I've been chatting too long. I could honestly talk for so much longer. Silly question, did they let you see your gallbladder, LOL, or did they toss it in the trash and didn't show you? I didn't want to see anything. They didn't offer, but I didn't want to see a single thing. Like, I don't want to know how the sausage is made. I don't want to know anything. I only looked up like a virtual sort of like reenactment of gallbladder surgery after I had the surgery, just so I could get like a general idea. And even that was like, wow, like that was intense. But I have heard people say that they let them keep their gallbladder, which is nuts. What's the biggest lesson you've been learning about yourself through this health journey? The biggest lesson for me, honestly, is that you only have one body, and to take care of it. Yeah, I'm only getting older, and things get more difficult as time goes on, and this is my only body that I'm gonna have to take care of, and I really, really need to take care of it, especially when I go to medical appointments and I see like older people that are struggling with their mobility or struggling with their health issues. It really motivates me to want to take care of myself and advocate for myself as much as I can and stay on top of any health issues I may have and fight like hell to be well and better so that I can live a long, happy, healthy life. It's so interesting, like how, especially in your mid to late 30s, you realize how precious health is and how easily you can be affected by something like that. And yeah, it's really the biggest lesson for me is to take care of myself and my body. So that's kind of like my biggest takeaway, I would say. Okay, I'll end it with this one because I thought it was really cute. And it says, what were you like in middle school and high school? Love you, queen. In middle school, I was weird. I was just desperate to fit in and desperate to be liked. Like, I was going through a lot at home at the time, and I just would do or say anything to get people to like me. And I mean, I've always had like a very outgoing personality, but I think a lot of that also boiled down to me moving a lot and always being the new kid and never really feeling super settled and always feeling like I needed to kind of like try and convince people to be my friend or, you know, something like that. So I think of my middle school self and I just want to hug her and tell her that it's going to be okay and that her weirdness is adorable and sweet, and keep being yourself and never ever 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 change. And then in high school, I was a little bit more sure of myself, but I think I was a little bit more like, I was boy crazy in high school for sure. So I was like kind of like always wrapped up in what was going on with my boyfriends at the time. I was friends with like a lot of different people from a lot of different groups. Again, probably coming from like being a new kid. Most of my best friends in high school were new kids. Like I would always befriend the new kids because I knew what it was like to start at a new school and like not have anyone to sit with at lunch. And so that was kind of my go-to, is like I'd go up to all the new girls and be like, do you want to sit with us at lunch, or, you know, whatever. So yeah, I mean, I did cheerleading in high school, but like I wasn't that good at it. It was like fun, but I wasn't like amazing. Do you know what I mean? Like some of the other girls. I was good in school when I wanted to be, but I really struggled to pay attention. I mean, looking back, it's like so obvious with the ADHD thing. And then I was just struggling with home life stuff, and I'm really proud of who I was in high school. Like really, really proud of what I did with the cards I was dealt, and the fact that I managed to, you know, get up every day and put a smile on my face and make people laugh. I was very much like joking in class and not paying attention that much in class and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's kind of how I was, similar to how I am today. So anyways, thanks for watching this vlog. This is a long one, but I just figured, you know, we could chit chat and hang out and talk. Thanks so much for being so supportive during this time. I can't remember if this is gonna go up before or after the vlog that I'm filming, like coinciding with this. So either way, there will be more to come. I will be feeling much better soon, hopefully, and I will see you guys very soon in the next vlog. Bye.